Okay. I switched in a different ear. That's gonna have to do this.
You need different air to do the podcast?
No, the earrings are a little larger than the ones I usually wear. They're squishing they're poking into my neck.
Well, poking. There's a lot of poke that's going to happen today because Pokemon Go in the news.
Oh, wait, are we... Was the 7th store spot?
So E7th is a Poke-Stay stop.
Okay.
And our Fridley store is a gym.
Okay, yeah. I don't really know what this means.
Yeah, I had to ask my more geekier employee before I posted. I'm like, I'm gonna post about being a gym. What does that mean, Ken?
Would you mind telling me?
What did they tell you?
You go. People run. There's the master of them or whatever. So you go there to train or fight the other people at the gym and like get stuff. I don't know.
I don't know.
I knew enough.
Well, I was afraid if I Googled explain Pokemon Go to me that I would just have too much crap going up a feed about it, and there was already enough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that many people that are paying.
I don't either. It seems like everybody is.
Yeah, it's there's over the Centennial Lakes, and I pulled in the other day. There had to be 75 people just sort of standing in the park area in little group, single, staring at their phones and moving around very deliberately. And that's got to be the Pokemon. I'm thinking, what was everyone doing 7 days ago? Were they still playing Candy Crush?
Probably. Or sitting on the couch. That's for sure. I saw my first zombie horde the other night, and I was like, because I had never seen people. But we were at my buddy's place in St. Paul, and saw someone walking by, and they're like, oh, playing it. Someone else, playing it. Then we look down at the corner, and there's like 6 people, and I'm like, oh my god, it is a horde. This is weird.
I don't know. You get to, I don't know if people are actually talking, but I've seen stories about how autistic kids are really enjoying it because it's something they can do, and they don't even realize they're actually talking to other folks, and so it's good for them. Good for them. And I guess it does folks outside. Although in today's weather, I don't know really. There's going to be a lot of where the air conditioning
it's
stops.
only going to get
this week.
Of days.
I do not envy folks who work outside.
It's a good to come by some center cooling lube from Fantasy. That's what I think.
Or the mint the Swiss Navy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that tastes really good. So you have tasted most of the. If you go into the store and you see the sign that explains the viscosity, what it tastes like, and what's going on with the lubes, you really need to have the same person do all that. So I tasted all.
Did you get like a lube hangover thing?
After some of them that are, because like I said, the flavors are supposed to be flavored, but a lot of times people want to know what the other stuff tastes like because really, if you're doing it right, you might get some in your mouth. And so, yeah, I would actually get about 3 or 4 in and then have to go. Yeah, I can't taste it anymore because that
cleanser.
It's time to be done because I can't. I can't discern anymore. They all, what's going on. But it's very entertaining, and we're working on, we're all working on updating our loop, trying to figure out, okay, what do folks want, what didn't sell, what stopped selling, do we need, and a lot of the times, we'll have something that's really, that we enjoy. Folks enjoy stuff like that. But then the manufacturer decides to change it, or they can keep up with them getting it to us or something. It would go crazy.
Then with every cosmetic I've ever loved, be it a lipstick or something that I thought was perfect, always got discontinued.
Yeah, Maybelline 24-hour cover concealer. I'm looking at you. You need to come back.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, I mean, Colleen, you made a comment before we switched the mics on today in that about the news, and it's been really uber serious lately. Uber serious. And I'm sorry for all of the the loss of life. It's devastating, and all across the world, not just here, and all of that kind of stuff. But in the true spirit of the show, we are going to talk about the naked women showing up at the Republican National Convention on. Take it away, Colleen.
I'm flipping through, and the first thing is I have to admit, if I see the little initials, SFFW for work, I'm like, hey, I work.
Click it.
Click it. There is that. And there is an artist, and I'm going to flip the, actually,
Tunic.
Tunic, who actually auditioned, requested women for this installation piece. They were going to celebrate the female form. They were going to celebrate the fact that that their bodies were there. They were going to, and and so they all showed up disrobed. They're all holding mirrors. I don't quite. I guess they were reflecting of morals and values and stuff like that. Thing that what they stand for, the RNC, which is incredibly female. Doesn't here he is. Here's a body. Look at us. And then look at yourself. And what are you actually saying? Well, my favorite part about this story is the fact that there were 100 women, but he over 1,800 women volunteered. Some of them flew from around the world to be there to show solidarity, that the Women's Forum is autonomous. They get to speak for themselves. That there's nothing obscene about the female body, and I thought that was amazing. But I didn't hear about it. I would have been naked. I mean, and it's every type of woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful.
Pictures were cool.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll get the post up if you see it. But I'm in this day and age that it may have run across a few other things. But we'll make sure there's a link on our site too.
Yeah. It was on Sunday, and they were like across the river,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of a cool too, because then they had the barrier of the water, and it wasn't like they couldn't be accused of, an onslaught of nakedity at the Republicans. So it's kind of fun.
And and like I said, the mirrors were there to shine light and reflect the hate back. And it's there was a lot of symbolism, and what they were doing, and it was just fascinating to me. That I mean, I'm sure that if it had been more publicized, you probably would have got more than 1,800 women who would show up and say that this group of people does not speak for me.
I'm just amazed how many people are willing to get in public. It's a lot.
I guess if you got the right cause.
Yeah. And it was just yeah.
I'm not sure I would do like naked subway rides, but I could do something like
Mm-hmm.
this would make this would make more sense for me because I don't really have any problem with nudity. Anybody else? It's in a sense about context, and I that our laws actually understand text. And that's very and then they're very as we know, very bigoted and very sexist when it comes a lot of nudity laws. A lot of it had to do with keeping people down, not saving anyone.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So we today quite a bit of did I go away?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, how's that? Is that better?
No, you're still gone.
No, what's going on? We've got an issue with the mic here. Is that better?
Nope.
No. Okay. Talk about RNC for one more minute.
Okay. Well, no, we could. So, but a lot of things going on. We talked about the they've have the anti-porn platform and the marriage only between a woman and a man, and a bunch of other things that are fairly negative over the season. The lovely just last night, the lovely plagiarism by that was gone, and I'm sure that most folks will be able to read about that. It ran across all the major news organizations this morning. But the one thing that I do find fascinating is that folks have got to stop slut shaming Mrs. Trump. It's going through that. That's a very, very serious thing. What she does for a living is what she does for a living.
Right.
And it's not, you know,
You
and
can find out, I'm sure, plenty of other things.
other reasons
to
going
shame
through there.
her for.
Yeah, but
Bad teen men
yeah.
being number one.
It's not. Once again, he looks and how is not. It's not pertinent. It's the same. It's not pertinent. What Hillary Clinton wears or how she has her hair or whether like, these are either personal, and yes, folks are they're making fun of Trump. He's sort of allowed himself to be target that way when he explains that the best there ever is. Well, yeah, he's the best person there probably other than an Oompa Loompa. But like I said, I find it fascinating that some folks that are when they point fingers and they start screaming, shaming are some of the first people that are directing it towards Mrs. Trump, and like I said, plenty of other things to do about, but her looks and her work is not something that should be categorized.
I just think it's. Can you hear me guys now? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a problem with the other mic. We apologize. I just think that it's a fine line because you could sit there and say the family should target, but then if rating them out there to campaign and give speeches, kind of put them up for some sort of scrutiny.
Well, and then target what they say, not what they're wearing, or and it's the same thing that Michelle Obama went through. Like it was insane the amount of hate she got.
Because you want someone to eat a couple veggies and exercise,
and she dares to wear like sleeveless dresses. Between those two things, well.
I think that women like Michelle Obama or definitely a Melania Trump, they're younger than most of the previous first ladies that we've for a really long time. They're still kind of in that, I hate this term, but it's cougar age where they're still kind of in there. Whereas the other ones were more grandmothers.
Yeah, although I wonder, like, did people slut shame Joe?
Oh shit, that went around then.
Right? Well, it's always been around. It just didn't have a clever to it.
She had her very rigid role that there's not very constrained about, and she had to accept an awful lot of fooling around by her husband, to some extent, and to pretend like it didn't happen, and I was there, but it's fascinating. That take a what's coming out of your mouth, folks. Is it about what they're wearing or how they're or what they're looking or what they're actually saying or doing? Because I give her crap for not realizing that she I'm sure the speechwriter wrote it, but she plagiarized large paragraphs of Michelle Obama's speech word for word. Give her shit for that. I'll give her shit the fact that she's to be a model. It's a job. Anything else?
It's just so funny considering how much they eat Michelle Obama.
Do you guys actually think though that somebody is stupid enough herself to intentionally take somebody else's words and in full frigging that it could be copied?
Oh, I'm sure she had no idea.
I'm sure she had no idea. What kind of think is somebody within the organization thought it would be a great thing to do. I mean, I think she was set up because she if she did or didn't write it. I mean, because it's too preposterous. It's too stupid. I mean, who is that? I'm sorry. I just think it's crazy to go that far. I mean, why would you do that? It makes no sense. It's too easy to get. Well, they're showing them side by side. They're playing Michelle, then they're playing her. And but I mean, it just seems too convenient to me.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll be talking about that. But there's software picks up plagiarism.
God, for kids that do papers.
Yes.
Right. I know. So how that got through is that's weird.
About it's been absurd. So why wouldn't this? And going through there, but what they really need is they need the kids from Tennessee.
Which ones?
No, not the kids. The kids that do the videos about and the plays about sex.
Okay. Well, are you talking about the Planned Parenthood stuff?
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood appears actually a couple times in the news. And I'm saving that one because it's pretty cool and it fits into a whole bunch of stuff that I'm saving for the next time it came in. It's more like world stuff. But the first Planned Parenthood is pretty damn funny. Sorry, we've got POCUS stories for the first 3 or 4, but it's what's going on right now. Parenthood here, South Dakota and North Dakota. Did you see what they did with one of the Pokemon characters, Wordle? They turned it into a condom, take an STD. P.S. It's hysterical, guys. It's pretty freaking clever.
I've seen Squirtle made several comments about Squirtle. The name of that one is just like, okay.
Yeah, well, the character drawing of it's really funny, and it doesn't really look that much difference when you don't want to catch them all. Condoms help prevent pregnancy and STDs. So it's pretty cute, very glib, and it's only out for 5 days. So we've got a link for that. So going to Pokemon, and you get to a church, and you're in a garden, and there's a naked lady defending a statue of the Virgin Mary. Probably not anybody thought that they would come across in Connecticut. Who does that?
It's not we're trying to catch.
Naked? And why naked? Why?
Well, if you're going to defile a statue, I mean, you might as well be naked, right? It only makes sense.
And the Westport, Connecticut paper tweeted is what's funny. Cops are tweeting stories like this now for us. So
there's wonderful stuff. There's a local guy here. There's the another place in, I don't know, Maine or Massachusetts or something, wherever. Tens of thousands of followers on some of these police departments. You know, just trying to get word out. This is what normal day is. I mean, there isn't systemic racism. I'm not going to say that, but there's a lot of good too.
Oh, well, I just think it's funny is when there's a story that's kind of outrageous and it's like seriously look at this. I'm just glad that they haven't been quashed by departmental policy saying you're not allowed to share this absurd side of your job. I mean, I'm waiting for that to happen. But right now there's some awesome cop tweets out there about the silly lighter things.
And like in a cemetery, someone's searching for these little thingies on their phone or whatever, and they run across. So they actually stopped playing and hit 911 and again.
They did.
They did. So they weren't completely engrossed in the game where they realized this is not right.
They
one thing
still managed to spot a naked person,
which is probably because oncoming car and people brandishing weapon haven't seemed to do the trick thus far.
But
boobs
always
there.
Works.
There you go. And she I'm not sure if she's going to face charges as they're checking out the mental eval things. This one's funny. I'm due New York. What?
I'm just trying to. How does it say any? Just say defiling statue. No.
Vandalizing.
Then why would you? You don't need to be naked for vandalizing.
That's what I said. That's where I'm going with this.
I thought it was some kind of ritual, or she ended up having fun with the statue. Just vandalizing.
No fraud statue.
No fraud. Large concrete statue, you guys. I mean, this was not a small, cute little.
Right.
Large. Okay, so.
What? Oh my God.
Tara is at the Adult Novelty Manufacturers Expo.
Okay.
And Pipe Dream in their booth, because you want to draw people there, has an enormous penis. I don't even know. You can't even get your arms around this thing. It's like 20 feet tall, and you can't. And I'm just like, she sends this picture to other people. I don't get the penis.
I don't like penis.
Yeah. I got the penis confetti and a few other things. It's just, I'm like, we're going to find a picture of this penis. We're going to put it on the site.
Oh, yes.
Because I just like, so we've been getting little tweets at the show. She's doing that, but when you said enormous, I said, thing. I'm like, oh yeah, big penis. I'm like, yeah, Pipe Dream does some wild things. I don't even know what it's made out of. Like, it can't possibly made out of like TPPE or something like that. You would need like four lifts to haul this sucker in.
Right, or silicone. That stuff gets heavy.
Or you would get that, and I'm like, so I like really large penis.
If you have to go, though, if you guys, well, of course, I can't believe I almost asked the most ridiculous question of my life. Have you guys ever had it for a convention? Hello? Of course you do. It's a pain. I mean,
yes.
Because usually they're down or they're, in tough places, and you're a big giant penis. If you have to set something up, a big giant would be more than most things.
I'm assuming that you have to realize, and Pipe Dream is one of the founders of the show, so they probably have a huge booth space, which means they probably have to set up for other folks. I just wanted to see. I just once I see what it's made out of, I'll probably have a better idea because it didn't sound inflatable. So I can't. she didn't a picture of giant inflatable penis. I mean, that word had shown up any of the word, any of the descriptive I've gotten of this so far. So I mean, I immediately went to get it in there. When you set it up, who designed it? Where was eating? There was a lot of questions.
Mhm.
But
I wonder if their float. I feel like they.
maybe,
They had a giant dick float.
oh, down in
for-
New Orleans,
yeah.
where they had a big, that large penis, and see what it would do. Maybe that was.
Photo.
Maybe it's a large
Mhm.
fiberglass penis. That'd be lightweight. See, now I'm
Hollow.
So
you could.
so.
God, you could live in it. It's like those tiny homes. Like a whole HGTV show. Women who live in.
Yeah, tiny
Wow,
home.
because usually they live in women. That's nice.
Right.
Yes,
I
yeah.
like it.
We like to flip tables.
Right?
Flip this sometimes.
I think so.
Sorry, I just said large,
No.
and then my brain went right to big.
That's what we do here. Okay. We knew this was coming. Guy playing Pokemon Go. The mapping software allowed his current girlfriend to see catching Pokemons or being a Pokestop, so to speak, at his ex's house and got caught. He has been dubbed by the New York Post as a Pika cheat.
Yeah, I mean, why are you searching? Going through there. That's one of the things I understand is that they know exactly where you are. There's a zippo privacy on this game.
Yeah, if you kind of look into like the information they are able to harvest off of your phone, it's a little disconcerting.
It's
I know a few people I got out, delete it, and then I guess there's a way of back on it and saying you can't get into this and that. But that's one of the reasons I don't do a lot of the stuff. I see, I don't. There's so much out there anyway. To some extent, what's the deal? But I'm like, it's the principal thing for me. Why is the which friends character you need to have my friends list?
Right. Yeah, you look at all the apps and it's like, okay, there is no reason that, this random I don't even like app or something. It's like it can access your camera, your phone, your contacts, I'm like,
No.
I just need to play music out of my fucking phone. You don't need to look at all this.
I mean, if you have the Yelp app, you need to know where you are. If you put, where to find the best rabbit vibe, Fantasy Gifts needs to know where you are.
Right.
Sure.
But even that bug, because I'm like, I will turn on my GPS when I need my phone to tell me where I am in relation to other things.
Yeah.
And then I turn on my GPS.
Yeah,
I
I
do
do
the
too.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's
Yeah.
phones, there's games where, God, my boyfriend was talking about this. His buddy's phone started to text him. Like, hey, have you heard of this blah blah game? You should go play it. Like, he downloaded a app based game, and it accessed his phone and started to text people
that
in his
would piss me
contact
off.
list.
That
Uh-huh.
would piss me off.
Oh,
Yeah, after I email got hacked a few years back, and it was like a 3-month ordeal. I mean, it was a big deal. You know what? I'll throw Yahoo under the bus. They were no help at all. You cannot contact anybody for help. They won't. They can email the help all you. It just goes into cyberspace. That's it. No, so I'm terrified like that. We a little darker before we get funny. Again with the Pokemon thing. Two guys in California, kind of my old stomping ground. Had an attempted murder suspect touching children inappropriately. They were out playing Pokemon, spotted crime. Another guy, however, this guy was in Auburn. He crashed his car into a tree driving. And this one's really a bummer. The Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. is pissed off. They've got 3 Pokestops there. It's like, really? Who creates those, we know?
No, I have no idea how this, how things show up.
No. I know that it's based off old information. There was a story going around about another adult shop that was a Pokestop, and it's this game is like 20 years in the make. So a lot of stuff that they're accessing is like a Google map info from anywhere from 7 to 10 years ago. And it seems seems to pick up like the word memorial or park. It looks for specific words.
Kids are looking for historikers and stuff
Right.
like that, and it can't differentiate between the Washington
appropriate
Monument,
and inappropriate. And I think that's what it was, like the World Trade Center, the museum or whatever. There now, we're now with the reflecting pool and stuff. It's also a Pokestop because I think they started it. The towers were still there, and it seemed like a logical place. They wanted landmarks essentially.
That's okay, but this one gets good. So in Florida, there is a store, and it's Fervia's Sexy Things.
Yes,
is that the one they're talking about? They think it's because it got a tiger on the building.
Full of crap.
Why? Well, what do you think it is? Just because it used to be something?
That would be my guess. It's random. They're not gonna. Yeah, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
They're good for business.
They've been there a long time, and we've got two of our stores are, and both have been there. Okay, the one hasn't. We're only been there for 5-6 years now in St. Paul. The Fridley store's been there for 20-some years.
Yeah, well, Fridley's the strip.
The whole store.
But, like, I'm guessing there's somewhere else in the strip that it's kind of connecting to. But I'm a little bummed because these had a funny story. It's funny how it would go clueless they were, and so they beat us to making news about about being a sex shop with Pokemon.
I mean, I thought this one. I thought it was funny, but they're really enjoying it because people are actually stopping to buy stuff. So that's kind of cool. I thought that was fun.
Because I read the story where at first they thought it was like some crazy absurds in pegging because they kept having come in and like Pokemon and they're like. Poke your man, like so they like put up this pegging display, and then finally, assuming one of the younger MPs came in after the weekend. Did you know you're a Pokestop? And they're like, what?
But you see, this thing is taking off quickly. I can see certain people, I mean, that not tuned into the gaming thing, and I thought this was cute. Sometimes that stuff, gets a little strange, or somebody gets hurt, but I thought that was pretty damn
good
funny.
for them. Good.
Well, did you hear? This is a one before we go to Love Island. That there's now a woman that got or it's the first female to male Zika transmission in New York.
Like sexually transmitted?
Yeah, female to male sexual transmission now. And there's been another one where it was a caregiver, and they're now going, this is jumping in ways that we did not know how it could. So all of you childbearing women, age, if you ever think you want to use that, those parts and stuff, let's just be really careful because it's getting it's starting to find other ways to travel around. Just a quick note.
Yeah, another excuse for condoms.
Yeah.
And using that until they know exactly what's on there.
Have you heard of Love Island? It's a European reality show that goes a little further than anything besides the porn. Who wants to be a porn star show? This is actually kind of sad. This show, they have a kind called The Watershed in Britain, where it's 9 o'clock and you can play stuff on their regular TV after 9. But before that, okay, well, something got screwed up, and footage people in this house that started to have sex aired before Watershed. So now the whole program and the production company being, investigated and whatever. Okay, fine. The rules are the rules. And here, my God, it would be the Janet Jackson flap all over again, only with sex. Okay. Well, the one weird thing though, Miss Great Britain wanted, and she lost her crown for having sex on the show.
That's not. Who? What? Tyra Banks or God, someone lost their crown just being in semi-nude.
Oh, Vanessa
photos.
Williams.
Yes,
that was
a long time ago. And we one time, and I had a guest that they wouldn't allow her to be on the show. Just going through there, and it's fascinating. I'm like, don't have handlers. They didn't know she was in the show.
Right. That is weird that I have thought of that
they
before.
Have so many rules in all these pageants.
Because it's not surprising that it's not surprising at all to me that she would lose her crown over this. It's only surprising didn't assume that's what would happen because how
I'm kind of on her
puritanical it is.
Because how would you not think that
right? Yes.
Okay. The organization sent out this tweet. To be clear, we have no problem at all with sex. It is perfectly natural. We can't condone what happened on national TV. I don't know. I guess I don't blame him.
Well, I didn't even know Britain had a Miss Britain whatever pants. They should be thankful. Like who cared about Miss USA, Miss World or whatever the hell until Steve Harvey fucked up. Like
And it became interesting, right? Do you know what wet marijuana is?
Wet.
Yeah.
A bad accident. A waste of money.
A smoothie.
A sad day.
It's when they dip it in formaldehyde. I said it.
Why?
Unclear. But this guy, he 26-year-old charged with abuse of a corpse after his aunt found a brain in a jar of formaldehyde, just like what you see in a museum or something else that he had under arch. He named it Freddie. He would dip his pot cigarettes in there to get the formaldehyde to get high. So that is do read attempted use of human part for intoxication purposes.
I just laugh, but that's so funny.
The brain,
That
Freddie.
It's so
I know it's so bad on so many levels.
And all I'm thinking is that there's really thoughtfully stealing. I mean, there's other places to get formaldehyde.
Where did he steal this bird from?
I don't know.
That's
a really good question.
obviously he sold it, stole it in the jar of formaldehyde because if he could get that for formaldehyde, then leave the brain out of the equation.
I don't know.
It's like young Frankenstein. Was it
labeled
labeled Abby Normal? Sign on the
or
jar.
the one, or the Steve Martin Tomlin one where there's that brain. Oh my God. Two of me or something. All of me. So,
yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good movie.
It was a cute movie.
Brain talking. I wonder if Brain did talk to him.
Maybe. Well, depending on how many of those from wet weed cigarettes he smoked, probably did.
I'll do it public. That sounds like a very bad idea.
Yep.
Don't
do that. No body parts.
You should all breathe a sigh of relief to know that the nipple in Kyoto, Japan, has been caught.
I heard this. Very, very happy for it.
It wasn't the nipples that got him in trouble. It was his ass.
Mm-hmm.
So for 3 years, he's been terrorizing subways, and public transportation. Pinching his nipples and make faces at girls, and that's just not illegal over there. And women were like pictures and going ew, and posting them. I mean,
so he's pinching own nipples.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Oh, okay.
And everything was fine except he until started getting his butt involved, and that's when the problem started. That is public in DC in Japan, so they did a run.
I'd be the same here, honestly.
Yeah, male nipples
are not. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters much what you're doing to said male nipples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be strictly punished according to the mayor of district. He was caught. Good. Anybody here a Kate Beckinsale fan?
Yeah. I think I know who she is, but
she's a pretty girl.
I don't go see. I don't really.
She did all the underworlds.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Kohan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she has a very funny picture that needs to be on the Great Northern Sex Cast Facebook page, you guys. She's in a penis suit, and it's funny. And her tweet says, "Just a girl trying to make it in a man world," and it's freaking hilarious. And you've got to see it. It's just that funny. And I'm not really sure what the impetus if she's promoting something like that.
Penis suits.
Well, I mean,
who knows? I mean, just in her penis suit.
You could run and handing out leaflets and that. That'd be kind of.
I think it would be way better instead of a big inflatable penis. You get into a tiny, classy suit for penises.
Well, there was that one person who made little for the. Remember
Yeah, the pictures with them on.
Oh,
but I want
funny.
like a double breasted, like tails waist coat.
Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, little
dap.
Little
Yeah.
pocket square.
Uh-huh. Very
Scrotum square.
deck. That's what I want.
A pair of shorts. You've got and they're called Villa. Okay, and they're spelled really, really weird. Nice looking. Let me preface by saying that. But they're supposedly marketing these as something that can boost sexual prowess because they're so bad. They're kind of like bike shorts, and they supposedly by recording your movements and then sending that info to an app that designs workout plans to improve your pelvic floor muscles. For Kegels, believe it or not, Kegels help guys too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're saying strengthen those muscles, improves blood flow to the sex organs, according to the Mayo Clinic. But then there's an LA-based urologist that says this is dubious science. So you can look there with for yourself and make a call. But they're funny.
Well, maybe if you wore them while cycling, like on the Tour de France, you would help out your little guys. I know if they're too tight, you can bake your sperm. You really want those guys to be hanging down low. You want them to be cool. There's a reason they're there. And so I can't imagine how a pair of shorts that are like bike shorts could possibly help your sexualness if you're constricting the guys' little testicles. They don't like that at all.
They want to be free.
No. So I would probably get the bunk that this could possibly help. You want maybe if it was a much freer pair of cotton boxers where guys could breathe. Yeah. But
plus, if they're real attractive, like who cares what your puss is if you're not gonna get any because you're wearing ugly ass shorts.
Have you guys heard fish broth phenomenon?
Okay, so I did see this a few days ago, and it showed up, and then Pokemon took the feed, so I wasn't quite sure whether or not still was a thing, and so I did some Googling, and I'm pretty sure that I don't fish, there's too much fish you can actually eat in waters of Minnesota anymore. It's safe for you, so there's that. I just like, okay, so I have a fish, and I'm gonna hold it in front of my boob and have someone take a picture.
Mm-hmm. There's some really funny pictures.
and I'm desperately trying to come up with the how drunk would first person to do this.
The article that I sent you the link to, the pictures are so cute. I mean, there's really good pictures. One gal's got like a little shark, and they're absolutely perfectly. And most women in the pictures, the eyes cute and kind of hot, and they've got all these really like one gal's these two really interesting looking fish, and she's holding them mouth to mouth in front of her. They're funny.
I get the humor, but I'm like, okay, well, I always did it first. I was the first person. How do you slunk back into the internet to find out which woman posted the picture of the fish in front of her? Did she lose a bet? How drunk was she? Was she trying to get the attention of someone using boobs and fish?
She thought that would be her new like okay Cupid file picture, like boobs and fish. Best of all worlds, depending on what you're trying to catch.
But I was just fascinating because I have a pretty decent imagination. I can't that I've ever held anything in front of my. Wait, but they were the cantaloupes.
Well,
yeah, the cantaloupes.
I guess I haven't ever looked at some been like, wow, I really need a picture of this in front of my boob.
I was holding the cantaloupes that I actually grew in the garden. I realized they were sort of like in front of my desk. But if you're going to take a picture of cantaloupes and you're holding them, it sort of ends up in front of your boobs. But,
right.
Was it,
take your shirt off a cantaloupe bra.
No.
Melon for the melons.
So on it probably is a picture of me holding like camps in front of me, but I was taking a picture of. Yeah, it was still on. Pretty exciting. I grew a cantaloupe. But
I think it's funny, and I think that it's gotten into a space time where it's like, what else can we do? Because we're as a society extremely bored, and what's random? Yeah. Let me put fish in front of my boobs and take a picture.
Is it any different than planking? Followed by owl?
Yeah. No, not much. I thought that was. We talk about bored people. This could be right out of the show Jackass. Drones. I want one. Like I want really bad. I want to my friend's house on the other side of the lake and drop the hour invitation off, come back, take pictures. Particular guy up in Quebec, decided it's going to put nair on his leg, and have the drone pull it off. So he shaved his legs with drone, and he taped it, and it's got typical guy in the leg hair, and he's screaming, and it's It's funny. I mean, I guess I'm really getting my sophomore on today. I don't know, but he's like, yeah, I have a high threshold for pain, and I brace myself. The video is not exactly boring. It's highly entertaining, but it's like, once again, how much time does this person have to think this up? How much time do I have for watching it? I don't know. Not good.
No, that would be. Yeah, I get my legs waxed quite a number
You
of
do?
years. Yeah, it takes quite a number of before it. I mean, I practically fall asleep during it now because there's I'm just so used to it. It's no big deal. I'm also like still, and so any moment that I'm still, I'm probably I go to sleep.
But hair that's used to be like female leg hair is nothing compared to guy. It's curly and longer. That has would hurt more. I would. One chance time I'll give them a. You know that Britain got a new prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, she's got the same name spelled ever so slightly different as a porn star.
Wow.
Did you hear about that? It's funny. Her name's Theresa May, but she's TH, and then there's a RESA May, and we're getting them confused. And of course, the new PM says, I find it quite amusing. People think I'm the other Theresa May, and it's just kind of a cute little mix that they're both having a good time with. But that's kind of unusual.
Yeah,
At least she's been cool about it.
Yeah,
though,
you just have to go with it. I mean, there's nothing. If you start being harumphing it and this and that, you just like it's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it is sort of fascinating that the conservative prime minister has a porn doppelganger. Yeah.
There was a porn star with my name, which I thought was really weird. It was Megan Vaughn, spelled the same, and I spell it differently than 99% of the Vaughns in the world. I'm not like Vin. And and then I'm like, what the hell kind of porn name? Like, I mean, Megan, like it's pretty cool. I'm down with it. I'm with it. But for porn, out of all the names in the world, and this like archaic spelling of it either, and she did not Irish. Oh, I'll throw that there. A movie came into a DVD office. And I found it, and my name is on this fucking box. What? I have not seen the paycheck for this. I'm going to sit up here.
You're right. I mean, it's an interesting choice. It's a pretty name, but it's an interesting choice for
porn. Yeah, out of everything in the world.
Okay. So speaking of porn films, nice segue, Megan. Guy, Video News. I mean, he's the guy that he sold it. Fishbein. His name is Paul Fishbein. He started the Avon Awards or whatever, and he takes this stuff very seriously. He put out a list of in his opinion, the top 10 best porn of all time.
Oh,
yeah, and I've got it here. Here, I thought was funny about this, or funny but just interesting. They're all like in the 80s or the early 2000s. There's nothing from the 90s and nothing since I don't think 2010. So it's like, what trended at those times to make those films not as good as the ones in the 2 decades that he thinks great?
Oh, I feel like I actually might have looked through that.
A lot of them. What's happening now is there's not a lot of content. Full movies being made. There's content out there. There's scenes, and there's you can stream it and stuff like that. We have streaming on one of our websites and all that sort of stuff. But there's not. I mean, people steal it right away. So people aren't producing large, full movies as much anymore. They're parodies. They'll do this and that. They'll do but a good adult movie that has good-looking women and men, and has decent sex, decent lighting, and elements of a script. No one's putting the money into it anymore because people are becoming themselves online having sex, and so they're just in a lot of call for paid content anymore. And there was just a lot more that was done. It was a lot more work, a lot more production view.
Wicked and did Playground still do a pretty decent job of attempting to make a film. Is this the list that had the remake of A Devil in Miss Jones, the original Devil in Miss Jones?
Because they took the suicide scene out.
Yeah. Also, the original Devil in Miss Jones is kind of scary. There's some weird scenes with grapes, and she puts like a hose that's like shooting water up her ass, and I was watching it like, oh my god, she's explode.
Yeah. I has some funny scenes though.
Mm-hmm.
There's some humor in that one. So they actually did this for, I believe it's a Showtime product. It's on you can get this. Showtime is going to air it, or has aired it, and you can find it on demand out there. But he does kind of a special about it. Number one was 1981 Thing to Hide. And by the way, Colleen, to your point, I can understand why it would be expensive when people are just streaming, other porn. But I'm amazed it hasn't taken off to where movies, I guess maybe because it'd still be considered X-rated, like where movies show that are really good movies with actors that are well sex. You know what I mean? I'm just surprised that caught on yet. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
The number two thing of Misty Beethoven, 1975.
I've heard a lot about one.
2005 was The Devil and Miss Jones remake. That was number 4. Scoundrels was number 3, and that was 82. It was the first ever Asian Best Picture award.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Parodies, of course. 1981's Blonde Ambition. Fallen on number 6, Jessica Drake.
Yep, we carry that one. Yeah, I don't know, for a long time we had autographed copies from her in store.
Not even probably. 2006 Corruption. Roommates 1981. Tried to get out there. It was the first one to be from a woman's perspective. 2002 Feastas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are weird movies.
Really? Why?
I know they kind of can see from picture the people wearing like the vinyl suits and stuff. It's very, very avant-garde. I like the director has done a lot of really cool things, but it's wacky. Like there was one where they're in art school where it's like having sex on top of deer antlers and stuff. Like it's a little avant-garde, sure.
Okay.
Michael Nin his stuff.
Okay. You. Last one, guys. Pirate, and apparently it's claimed to be the first porn film with $1 million budget.
Yep.
And
they
sell
it. They're how I tell people when they're looking at something that's got plot and storyline. They had a R-rated version of Pirates at rent at Blockbuster, where they would just cut out the most explicit. It also has probably the hottest girl-on-girl scene I have ever seen.
Really?
Jessie Jane, who I actually am not a fan of at all, but her and Janine. Like, and then it literally, because there was like candle and butts and stuff, and a little far. But up until then, very sexy.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, Miss Ebert. That is very, very
2 thumbs up.
Somewhere. Okay, so Megan, this has been in the it kind of came back around because Colin found some stuff too. I think this is something that all three of kind of are interested in, and I don't mean that in a weird way. Nigeria. So they've been talking about basically trying to develop convincing arguments for in different countries that have it to practice this female castration to try to eliminate it. Okay. And here's what's about this. So they did a study and they compared people that had the surgery versus people that had not. And with regard to a tendency to want to have sexual activity, the people that were castrated did exactly the people that are trying to oppress them by subjecting them. They had a lower desire. Not surprising.
Yeah. Well, one, they're mutilated, and two, it hurts.
Yeah.
And just the drama involved. I saw the outline, like the headline: does female genital mutilation decrease the pleasure of sex? And it's like
you think?
No, duh.
The thing is that there's been recently read another story about a small community, and I believe it was in Pakistan or India, and I know they're separate, and just don't, my brain's just going, a small sect there, and it happens a lot of different places, and the woman was talking about, she didn't understand what was going on. It was years later that she realized what was going on, and she was here now, it's really hard to find a doctor or practice, a medical practice that knows how to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants it stop you from wanting to have sex, but the pain. I mean, it does exactly, controlling women is exactly what it was for. I mean, there's only one reason to do that, and that's to decrease sexual pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are afraid, men do, not people, are afraid of women actually having, sexual pleasure. And yes, it decreases sex drive because you're removing the clitoris and you're sewing parts shut. And I'm just like, you got to be, I'm just I know this exists, and there's a lot of groups out there working on it. There's a lot of educator, because folks will actually, if they're folks in here, they'll travel back to the countries where to have it done with their daughters.
Here,
it's illegal, yes.
Yeah.
And so, getting the education out there, that it's important. It is not legal here, and it's not. And I mean, but getting through. I mean. Getting through. I mean, even some of the older women, it's just done to me. It's what we've all done. There's just the tradition of it is sometimes more ingrained. Or even when you explain, it's damaging. It hurt. There's infection. There's complication during childbirth. All of this, even just take out. The fact that the woman not enjoy sex the way they're built to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, China's getting. Did you have something, Meg?
Oh, I was just gonna say I know it. I actually when I worked at the Midway, on University Avenue. It was pretty heartbreaking because on a couple occasions I had been coming looking for something. They had this done, and they were looking for. I tried them to some kind of different stimulants and stuff, but you don't even know how that works, depending how it absorbs through scar. But I just, there's been a few. Normally, this job super fun, awesome people. You feel like you're doing it. The world is solid. Sometimes. There has been a few heartbreaking days, and that's definitely one of them.
I do know that there are physicians and practices, and I don't know which ones there are. You have to do a little research, that, especially since we have a fairly large immigrant population here that are that can deal with it in an appropriate manner. Some folks just don't. I mean, it's not taught. They don't know. More folks are knowing, but there are resources out there, and it's sometimes. I'm guessing Planned Parenthood would probably be able to get you to an appropriate physician if they did one or practice.
I'm waiting for the surgery that can somehow restore that. Bad news, good news out of China. The bad news is one of the education books that was actually just written in 2004. Basically says sexual relations can cause women to lose love. They are seen as degraded by their curs. And slut shaming, okay? In a sex quote unquote sexcation book, one of the teachers said, "Oh hell with that." Tweets out a bunch of caused a backlash, which is spreading through China. So this is getting their bullshit over there, which I thought was pretty cool. And then Kenya, they are trying to promote. They pledged anyway to improve sex ed, family planning. But the upper parliament, it made its way and it's ready to go. And shot it back down. So they got a considerable battle going on over there over whether or not sex ed could be or should be actually taught to their people. Going back to the FGM stuff, Colleen. But finally, I love this. There's a writer's story, and this American Academy of Pediatrics published in the Journal of Pediatrics saying, "Get this education out there to the kid people." Doctors quoted very chastely.
Yeah, science and information education is very, very important, and it is. There is studies after these, and the folks willfully are ignorant, willfully deny folks basic information about their bodies. I just wish there was like some way to sue someone for being scientifically ignorant that's actually in a public office. I mean.
Be a lot of suits.
Yes, there'd be a lot. I mean, there needs to, if you don't believe in science, you don't deserve to be any near a public office or as a teacher.
Mhm.
That's all there is
Mhm.
to it.
And you can be really religious too, not
Yeah,
mutually exclusive
no.
either. But to say, I, I these are proven facts, but I'm not going to accept them. How is that okay? Like when I hear that climate is well, it's a political issue. No. Science. There should be no right left wing politics involved.
Yeah.
It's something that is happening.
Yeah, or the old canard of if you tell children sex and teenagers and stuff like that, they will want to have sex. Well, one everyone's going to want to have sex. There are very few people that are asexual, so you've got
As
that problem.
by women's walking everywhere.
Yeah, and I think that it's a malpractice. I think for anyone to deny someone basic information about their bodies, and it's frustrating. And getting folks to understand. I mean, that's one of the things. You know, people think that fantasy gift is the sex. No, there's no sex happening.
Really?
It's always fascinating when people at the sex shop. I was like, I've never seen any sex. You know, but going through there, but just. Folks will come in with don't like look at something, don't even know how their own bodies work, and these are not young people. These are all ages that need to have basic education on how their bodies work, or why how a lubricant works, or what this particular thing is going to do. They have no idea. So now, and which is why when they come in like okay, ask a question. You know, as long as it's not done in a creepy manner, we're going to give you information. We're going to try to tell. In the amount of times someone has to explain basic anatomy to folks is just fascinating.
And even just, you know, we had this whole thing on our employee page. One of our employees was going off on a little bit of a rant where, you know, people will like women will come in and like a dildo and say, how do you eat this? It's peanut. You know, you would think by your 30s you have a vagina. This is something that is shaped like a penis. You could, you know. Do you not?
They've never. I mean,
they
have no idea. They don't even understand. I mean, they want they unknowledge, not knowledge of just masturbation. Because we're talking, they're there to help you masturbate. They're, that they're. I mean, because there's, release of tin and release of hormones and all sorts of fun things that happen when your body's during a good thing. And I mean, it's just like they have. There is an enormous amount of education that happens about basic sexual function.
Yeah,
and it's 2016, and this is in Minnesota, where there's a fair amount of actual sex education. Not nearly as much as it should be in the school, but at least it's taught, you know, and stuff like that. In some places, it's not even taught. You know, it's taught as absence only. You've got a gym teacher showing how to put a sock on a foot because you show how to use a condom. You know, trying anything to get information across because he feels it's his job as an educator to give the kids basic information. But the best part is and
you're the finale.
Definitely into this is that there is a group of teenagers in Tennessee, and it is sponsored by Planned Parenthood. It's just a film. But it's a group of teens, and they call themselves the PG Players, and they perform skits to help educate about issues that include STDs, reproductive health, and getting tested. I mean, basic and your basic anatomy. And we'll put the link up to the site. It's a 13-minute video. It's important. I mean, these are peer-to-peer education. And that's where they're learning, because these kids are being still asked in 2016 is I'm straight, so I can't get AIDS, right? Or I can't get pregnant the first time I have sex. I can't, all these different things. If you have standing up, you can't get pregnant. I mean, all of the myths that out there these kids are doing, and these are brave kids, because they are in a place that is really the Bible Belt here, and they're going around and they become peer educators. They're being taught how their bodies work, how bodies work in general, how sex work, and they're outright saying abstinence education is proven to work.
Now, are these scripted? I wanted to ask you, like what? How did they? I mean, is Planned Parenthood coaching them up, and how's this all done?
They are the group itself writes the scripts, but it is highly, but they're highly plotted out, and so all based on fact, and so it's about two or three kids talk about sex in a way that someone that a kid 20 would talk about sex. And it's for the kids, it's a parents. They're like, if you don't know what to say to your kid, at least listen and find out what they want to know, and then we can help you find the information. But it's girls, boys, it's African Americans, it's white folks. It's everyone there. It's not just some coming in and being like some sort of educational savior. You know what I mean? This is it's funded by but these kids are like peer to peer. They're out because in 2020, if if the information is out there, you can't get pregnant if you have standing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fascinating, and they're working on what we talked about earlier about slut shaming. They're like, there is nothing wrong with your body or you if sex happens. It needs to be done, but they talk about respect, and they talk all these things, because it's not just about physical act. I don't know if there's a little more about it, and so hearing about it from a fellow kid, correct information is it's amazing. These kids are amazing in this video. It's just wonderful humans.
Do you endorse these as a mom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they need to. I mean, I've never not. My kids had a question. I answer it in an age-appropriate manner. Probably more information than she obviously needs. I wait till the owling starts, and then I stop, and then later on it goes on. But it's just because I asked her about some of the stuff. She says, "Hey, today we learned to put a condom on a banana," and I'm like, well, I guess that's a start. They're not like out, by the concept of it. At least they were told what it comes. But and I'm with her teacher because the kids all come from different highs and different elementary. She got to each section. She had to have a little questionnaire about, okay, now we're talking about diet, now we're talking about STDs, now we're talking about sex, now we're talking about drug use, because it's all encompassing in health class, right? The kids were at such different spots. It was difficult for her to teach because if you knew a little bit, you didn't want to hear basics. You were bored, but some folks didn't have the basics. So if you started a little farther down the curriculum, kids were lost. And she goes, the disparity between the 40 kids in the class, there was probably different levels of knowledge depending on where they had gone to school. Or what was taught in their school, whether or not their parents they weren't allowed to opt them. Who knows? But I mean, there's needs to be just. People can't decide on a basic curriculum. I can't imagine that they could decide on a basic sexual education curriculum that was actually informative without boring teenagers to tears. And it's the teenagers because in garden, you need to tell someone that if someone doesn't want to touch you, touch them, and that's where you start.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not good to chase someone around and tickle them if they don't want to be tickled. Talking about consent right there. That teasing someone in fourth grade because she hits her boobs someone else is not not an appropriate thing. Once you start, then it's already too late. And so, at least these folks are working their dams to get actual information in a peer-to-peer manner, which I think is absolutely amazing, because they're certainly not getting any help from their school and a lot of folks, because who just said that all sex is bad. Except of course, in a heterosexual married relationship, and you're only using for
I
recreation.
just don't even see it's allowed. I mean, if religion is not allowed in school, what would be the base for abstinence only education that is not religious based? What other possible motivation could there be?
Probably my guess would be just saying, look, if I, stepping up and trying to do some sort of right over a kid is to be taught. This is my job. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that would be the justification. Getting around that would be the only thing that I could.
That's right, because learning your body works should be just simple as learning algebra or learning how to how to the difference between there and there.
Based a lot of the guys that I dated in my days, algebra is a hell of a lot easier than they were abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, if they're out there guessing, and it's not having the information. There's Parenthood has a great website for information. A website called Scarletine has amazing information done in a way that not condescending to kids. In fact, I've had on my computer for years, just in case my kid wandered across it. It says this, I just left her. Here you go.
So that's a good resource. Well, again, maybe you can mention those too. I'll refit in to show summary. But if somebody's looking for a great resource too, that would be a thing to put out there. And a lot of papers today, and so the video we can link to the Planned Parenthood videos too. So as always, check Great Northern Sex Cast Facebook page, and does an absolutely amazing job with that. And we are out of time, so I know the Alzheimer's is coming in here in a minute, so we gotta get going. We'll be back at you guys next week.
Thanks. Yep.